There are a lot of things I wished I learned when I was 18, but today we're going to talk about the three most important things, in my opinion. Number one, success is a curve, not a straight line. Success can be defined in a lot of different ways. Success at the time for me was defined as being able to live comfortably, work remotely, and be able to provide for my family. That was success at the time for me. That is still very much my version of success. Now, what I mean by it's a curve, not a straight line, that means that everything you're doing now to try to get to a better future matters more than you think. Just like compounding, which is a very familiar topic in finance, compounding means the more money you have, and the longer it is growing, the more it grows, the longer it's able to. Now, every little skill that you pick up, every little dollar that you make, every time you invest, every time you lose, every time you win, every time you talk to the homeless guy who's on fentanyl and he tells you, oh, I was a business major in college. Every single time you see something like that and you learn, it's going to help you in the long run. You don't feel like it now, but eventually these skills are going to help you and you're going to start to grow so rapidly and everything's going to start to come together. But then you're going to have a realization and you're going to have a moment where everything starts to stagnate. And then once you stagnate, maybe you're going to lose. You won't lose it all, but anything that you gained fiscally is gone. And you feel like you've lost everything, and everything that you've done up until now is worth nothing. But fundamentally, it's not true. You're no longer the person who started from here. You're now this person. So growing won't be nearly as hard. But if you're starting in a new industry and you need to learn a new skill set, of course, it's not going to be easy. So now you need to start growing again. And then you start plateauing again. So now you start learning. You talk to another homeless guy. You get a new trade skill. You learn sales better. And then you get a new skill. Now these things start to bring you up again. And now you're making more money. Now you get a promotion. Now your business is starting to work out. And you're just growing. And that's what it's like all the time. You're going to plateau again. You're going to fall again. There's no such thing as the absolute perfect life. Nor should there be. That doesn't exist for anybody. And at 18, I wish I knew that. I really, really wish I knew that. That would have saved me a lot of headache, a lot of heartache, and a lot of time moaning and groaning over, oh, why doesn't this work for me, but it works for everybody else? And that's going to bring me right into my next point. But first, success is not a curve. Well, success is a curve, not a straight line. My next point. Opportunities will come when you understand them. This is a very hard pill to swallow when you're young because everyone around you that you're going to compare yourselves to, who you perceive is doing better than you, you're wondering how come they got that opportunity? How come they got a chance to win and I'm still stuck at this job, or I'm still trying to pinch every penny at, in this small little hobbit hole I call a studio apartment? How come it works for everyone else but me? And that's for the simple reason that you aren't ready. As much as you read this and you might scoff at it, ugh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's what I would have told you at 18 as well. Because I felt like I was ready. But looking back at it now, I wasn't ready. For example, a few months ago, I was able to flip a property. That property came to me because I was a real estate agent. At 18, I didn't even understand what a real estate agent did. And now that I am a real estate agent, I understand what they do, and I don't think it's worth that. But I didn't even understand how real estate worked at 18, let alone how to invest and actually win. Also, I didn't have the skill set, I didn't have the connections, and more importantly, I didn't have the capital to make it work. If I would have gotten that same opportunity at 18, it wouldn't have done anything for me. But I got the opportunity much later when I was ready for it. I wasn't 100% ready, like, okay, this is the time I do it. I was barely ready, but I was brave enough to take the opportunity and take the chance, but only because I saw it. If I was a normal real estate professional, I would have taken the deal, I would have sold it under normal conditions, but that's not what I did because I saw an opportunity and I wanted to utilize it the best I could. The people who you perceive are doing better than you just see something that you don't right now. But more likely than not, the more you try, the more you fail, and then the more you win, you'll start to see opportunities bigger than they could perceive. It's just how it works. And like I said, it compounds. So the more capital you have now, the more mistakes you can make. And also the more mistakes you can make, typically, the less of them you make as you get older. So opportunities will come when you understand them. The last thing I wish I knew when I was 18. Everyone is figuring it out just like you. There's no such thing as the perfect life. There's no such thing as the perfect person. Everyone's doing this for the first time. Me and my mom had a conversation a while ago, and she was telling me she didn't know something. And she's one of the most important people in my life, and that's a normal occurrence now. But when I was about 10 to 8 to 7 years old, when my mom would tell me not to do something, and I would ask why, she would explain it to me. But if she didn't explain it to me, she would say, because I said so. I never liked that phrase, because I said so. But that's the best an adult can come up with sometimes. And as you get older, especially when you're 18, you see the people who are more successful than you. You see everyone who has it all figured out. But when you get older than 18, you start to unravel the people in your life and the relationships around you, and you get to see the mask fall down sometimes, and then you realize not everyone's perfect. Barely anyone understands what they're doing, and people have a lot less figured out than you think. If everyone had the answers, we'd all win. But it's everyone who's here with you now is living for the first time. As much as your mentor knows, as much as your teachers understand, as much as you learn, you'll never know everything. And that's okay. There is a way to get around this. And that's just by taking a little piece of information from everybody you know and everybody you talk to. Everybody has something to offer. That homeless man that we talked about earlier, he became a business major, and that's when I knew that wasn't going to be for me. I would say engineering is a much more reliable major to take. So, for my final tip, one thing that I wish I would have learned a little bit sooner is that everyone can teach you something. Everyone can teach you something. Everyone from your coach, your teacher, to your friends who tell you you're crazy, you gotta stop, you need to take care of yourself. Or even the other friends who've been wildly successful and they don't know half of the things you do. They haven't done half the things. They don't put in half the effort. They know something you don't know. And even if they don't know anything and they just got lucky, take that as the lesson. That lesson would be fortune favors the bold. Even if you don't win at something and you learned everything and you covered all your bases and you invested properly and you understood everything, and yet someone who knows less, who doesn't try as hard and is never going to be as intelligent as you wins, maybe they were less cautious and that worked out for them. But in the long run, as long as you learn, from everyone, you'll likely be better off than when you first started. That's pretty much it. Those are some things I wish I would have known at 18. Thank you for watching, and see ya.